Down there in the cave, there is something scary. Do you dare to come with me? Well, hello there, I'm Détroit. You're joining me once more on my quest to draw something scary. I tried it last week with a rather rational drawing, a scarecrow. Now I'm moving on to something a bit more experimental and abstract, while still giving you enough information. If you don't understand what I'm saying, please watch last week's video. There's a link in the top corner over there. Today I'm starting with a black background and adding lighter elements to it. To be honest, this drawing doesn't require a lot of skill or technique. It's more a use of digital tools. I don't want to explore a particular skill, nor am I looking for a particular style. I want to work on the ambience, the mood. As I explained last week, what I want is something with mystery, and that rides on the primal fears of humans, mainly claustrophobia and darkness. A cave is a perfect setting for that. As I'm sketching the outlines of what will be the different planes, you can notice that I'm slightly skewing the angles a bit. This adds to the uncanny. I think it was in my 5 concepts in 5 minutes video that I explained how just changing the perspective a tiny bit makes it unsettling. Make the horizon not perfectly horizontal, and it gives a strange feeling that people instinctively don't like. I could have done it more today, I admit. Anyway, so a cave is the setting. It is a closed space. It's disorienting, but it's also dark. You can't see much due to the darkness, but also due to the stalactites and stalagmites that are in your way. To draw it and get a sense of how to shade it, I'm using a very cheap trick that works very well most of the times. I'm drawing the different planes of the pictures on different layers, one below the other. The foreground relief will then be my lighter shade of grey, and the last row of stalactites will be the darkest before the complete black. It's a very simple trick, but it allows to get a good sense of the perspective and the depth very easily. From then on, you can shade with already a pretty good picture in your head. Like, it's a good basis to start with. Now, something that I've deliberately chosen to do is ignore any detail. Here is how I see things, right? You can either not detail at all, or you can fully paint it with incredible dedication. Anything in between will not work. If you half-ass the drawing or the textures or anything, then the viewer will see the brushstrokes as brushstrokes and not as part of the picture. The whole goal of this illustration is to be scary, so you need to avoid things that will break the spell, if you see what I mean. And so instead of putting an insane amount of work, time that I don't have, and probably skills I don't have either, by purposefully not drawing details, not making the rocks look like rocks, I'm betting on the uniformity. I'm betting on the fact that it will add to the strange atmosphere rather than detach you from it. Now, let's talk about the crux of this picture. The monster, of course. What I ultimately did came naturally as an idea. I can't show a monster, that would make it too obvious and not mysterious enough. Besides, it's the same idea as what I previously said. Either I need to make it hard on myself, or I can keep it really simple to get a good effect. With the restriction of the canvas size, I can't draw something too big. What I can do instead is imply that the thing is really big. Because that's what it is. In the end, it's only a thing. It's only 4 tentacles wrapped around some stalactites. What is supposed to be scary here is that you don't really know more than that. The rest is left to your imagination. What lays at the end of the tentacles is completely up to you, and that's how it gets scary. From then on, I'm just shading the tentacles. The fact that they are completely smooth, again, is for the lack of details, even though I admit I was also a bit lazy. I like the contrast between the very soft and gradiented shading and shadows, and the very crisp outlines of all the shapes, all the while being a bit drawn by the restricted values of the overall piece. It's mostly really dark. Now, to add to this drawing, at first my goal was to make a video that's a bit scarier and more original than a basic drawing tutorial. I discarded the idea because I couldn't in the end. I thought for a while about how to imply a scary mood. I wanted like creepy music and I wanted to write a short story about the monster, but I'm not in the right headspace for that. You know, sometimes you need a specific mindset to create something. Like, you wouldn't listen to orchestral music to draw a futuristic neon picture. And you wouldn't listen to anime soundtracks for this kind of drawing. Well, here I couldn't find the right mood to write the story. I guess I could have forced it, but I didn't want to. I am much more exigeant with my stories than I am with my drawings. Writing is something I do a lot, but still a lot less than drawing, and with less regularity. Drawing is like a fine wine. It's full of subtlety. but writing is more like enjoying a nice small glass of cognac. You want to be in the moment, and if you don't do things right, it's a bit of a waste. Ultimately, it's just words on a page, just like you ultimately end up drinking the glass all the same, but it's less satisfying. It doesn't really matter, that's just how I like to do things. I like to plan things a lot ahead of time, but actually I'm more of an in-the-moment kind of guy. It doesn't matter if I have a writing session planned. If I don't feel like doing it, I'll do something else instead. And if I do want to write, I just have to hope that it's to write the same thing that I already started. I should probably work on that a little bit. Find a way to force myself to not invent something new every time I write. Anyway, I should go back to talking about the drawing, but the drawing process is pretty simple. Actually, what I'm gonna say is a bit linked to what I was just saying. I did this drawing mostly because it's October, but I kinda ran out of juice to draw scary things. I capitalized on last week's drawing because I actually did the two back to back the same day. I made full use of the mindset I was in to draw two things that are in the same scary vein. Now though, I'm in a completely different place, I think. I'm not sure exactly when these videos will come out, like the exact day, so I'm not even sure next week will still be October. But it doesn't matter, I won't draw something scary. I already know what I want to draw actually. I want to draw anime girl eyes. That's a very specific thing to draw, but it's because I never managed to do it. I don't know why, it's a mental block maybe. I really want to learn how to draw it, even if I have no specific plan to draw anime stuff. It's what I do. If I don't know how to draw it, I'll try to anyway. Drawing something I know beforehand to be entirely capable of drawing is less interesting, wouldn't you agree? So maybe you can try to challenge me. I'm always asking you for ideas of things to draw. It's because I want a good challenge that didn't come from my own brain, but yours. So leave a comment down there somewhere and like the video. You know the drill, subscribe and check out my Instagram. I hope you enjoyed this mini-series of 2 somewhat scary drawings. That was my contribution to Spooktober. I'll see you down in the cave. Bye!